Spurs stutter, Man City back on track, and Liverpool top of the table and having a laugh. Welcome to the Top Bins Football Game Week 20 review. Hi team, just me again, Mike and I'm not quite sure what's happening. I'm back in England now. He thought the time difference was a thing, so when I said meet you at 9am, he was up at 9pm and it's just not happening. We'll try and get together for next week, but as he has told you, I'm here in Torquay. I'm at this wonderful hotel here in Torquay. I did get recommended another place that was run by a rather obnoxious English chap and his wife with some pesky waiter. It seems that pesky waiter now has a job managing at Newcastle United. So, I gave that place a miss and I've come here instead. Little confusing though. They did say wear your Christmas clothes. So I've brought the old Hawaiian out for a New Zealand Christmas, and here we are in Torquay. It's a little bit colder than that, so I won't be in the pool behind me anytime soon. But look, we're here to talk football. We're here to talk Week 20 review. And it was another shock week, wasn't it? I mean, we've had some really interesting results over the Christmas period. Only a couple of teams have really managed to get through it without losing points or losing games they shouldn't have. And that's continued. And the only real team that's managed to take full advantage of this is your table-topping Liverpool FC. And look, they've come through a great game against Arsenal. Now, this was just an awesome game to watch, end-to-end, attacking, counter-attacking. Really great football by both teams. And when Arsenal took the lead, I have to admit I was a little bit worried, but I didn't need to be because it lasted 2 minutes and my man Bobby Firmino bags his first, 90 seconds later bags another, and look, Liverpool just took control. That really took the wind out of Arsenal's sails and they just didn't have anything left to give. A couple of nice chances later on. I thought Alex Iwobi, again, very impressive, but he was trying to do it all himself because he had to. The defence for Arsenal were just appalling at times. Not many worse times than probably Firmino's second and Mane's goal. Liechtenstein looks every day of his 35, and just against the rapid front three like that, he just had nothing to give. So yeah, really good game by Liverpool. Deserved 5-1 winners. Odd that the referee that refereed this has done his last three games in a row have ended 5-1. Pretty crazy stuff there. I don't think you could argue with Salah's penalty this week. Pretty clear for me. And Xhaka was lucky to stay on the pitch after his descent with kicking the ball away. He was a very unhappy chappy. He could smell what was coming, and yeah, very interesting. But great result for Liverpool. That took them clear at the top. And then obviously it was all to see what City would do with their game at Southampton. And look, Southampton didn't do themselves any favours. Having a man sent off against City is only going to make the task harder. But look, City ran out, deserved 3-1 winners here, and I think they're back on track. They will be a little concerned about the one against Southampton. That said, Southampton have been a lot better since they got rid of that horrible Mike hurting man, Mark Hughes. They've been a much better team. But City, yeah, you've got to question just how much of a response that was. I mean, they played pretty well, but they certainly weren't at their scintillating best. But 3-1, certainly very convincing. They'll be pleased to jump back into second place. And of course, they're there because Spurs had their shock, and that was a home 3-1 loss to Wolves. Now, Wolves have been patchy in the last few months, but boy, this is just a huge result to go to Wembley and pick up all 3 points against the Spurs team that had scored 11 goals in 2 games. That just looking absolutely on fire. Son was maybe the best player in the league at the moment. And for Wolves to go there and do this to Spurs just shows that they are going to be hard to beat. And they are a great promoted side. And I think all those calls we made earlier in the season that still exist. Great team harmony. Really disappointing result for Spurs. They'd pulled themselves up to second. They would have stayed there with a win. But now, obviously, they've given City that little sniff and they've got back in there. But Spurs certainly in the hunt and certainly have a slightly better second half of the season, as do Liverpool over City. So it's certainly going to be, very interesting to see how that pans out. Those three clubs seem to be the ones that are vying for the title at the moment. And it's all about who can keep it going, who can last. I guess the other game that we want to talk about is going to have to be Manchester United and Bournemouth. The great run from Manchester United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer continues. Obviously, I'm bitterly disappointed to be here in Torquay, not at Manchester United, and plotting my transfer window for next year and getting ready for a season in charge. As Mike's let you know, Edward Woodward has declined on my reference checks. Mike, without being asked if I had a passion for football, he answered that with a long rant about my love of Liverpool FC, and as you can probably imagine, Ed didn't like that at all, and a line went through my name pretty much immediately, along with a blunt text message telling me I'm not in the team. Something similar to what you might have seen Antonio Conte sending Diego Costa, telling him he's not in the team. That's how I felt. So, I know how you feel, Diego. I see why you're such an angry man. You'll note that I've changed my hat for my Torquay interview. I've got, I think, baseball. I don't know if Torquay will know that the Red Sox owners own Liverpool, but hey, we'll give it a shot and see what happens. Anyway, Manchester United on good form. Paul Pogba just seems to have had the weight of the world lifted off his shoulders at the moment, doesn't he? Now that Jose's gone, and he's really showing everything he's got. Goals coming through. He's looking confident. He's got that swagger, that cockiness back about his play. And they really put Bournemouth to the sword here. 4-1 was a very fair result for them. Bournemouth really dropping down the table at the moment. They need to start picking up some wins. It has been a tough Christmas period for them, but they really need to get back on track and get back on track quickly, because they're really slipping out of the European places where I thought that they would end up. So Eddie Howe's got a bit of work to do there to get them back on track. Other games this weekend, Brighton had a pretty tidy 1-0 home victory over Everton. Everton have been flying with that big win last week, but Brighton doing the job here, and good to see. The Amex is a hard place to win, and they're making it a fortress, and a good win there against Everton. Fulham, a nice 1-0 victory in a huge match against Huddersfield at that part of the table. This is one of those, horrible cliche, but the 6-pointer. And it really was. Huddersfield haven't been too bad lately, but Fulham not only scoring, but managing to keep another clean sheet. 1-0, not the most spectacular game in the world, but it'll certainly do. And Ranieri's certainly keeping that defence, as you'd expect from him, just a little bit more miserly. Big shock in the next game, the King Power, Leicester hosting Cardiff. I'd say most of you probably would have picked Leicester to come away with this, especially after recent results. But no, Cardiff pulling away 1-0 here, and a great first away win of the season for Cardiff. And that will be a huge morale booster. And the teams we just talked about, Fulham and Huddersfield, they'll be absolutely livid that Cardiff's taken all 3 points here in a game that they would have thought Cardiff would lose. But, credit to Neil Warnock. He keeps it going, and a big away win that not many would have seen coming. Watford hosted Newcastle, and again, not a huge, great game for the neutral. I wasn't riveted by the game, but Decore came on and saved the day. And look, Newcastle will be disappointed that they couldn't hold out, but 1-0 draw against Watford at Watford is a pretty credible result for Rafa. So I can see why he's left being a waiter and he's taken up management, because not doing too bad. Crystal Palace hosted Chelsea. I expected fireworks here. I expected Chelsea to come out with a bang, but it was more a whimper, but a whimper was good enough to take it 1-0. And, Chelsea back on track, starting to look all right again after a bit of a shaky December in parts. Burnley, I guess, is one of the biggest shocks of the weekend, though. Turf Moor, West Ham, after Felipe Anderson looking fabulous, and I certainly threw him in the fantasy team to play Burnley. I thought, here we go, big things at Turf Moor. But the big things were on the other side of the pitch, and Burnley have been struggling to score goals and struggling to keep them out. Did both in this game. 2-0, huge clean sheet for them, and really something they need at the moment. And great to see Chris Wood finally, scoring a goal, and he'll need that for his confidence, and Burnley will need this for their confidence, both scoring and keeping a clean sheet. Massive for Sean Dyche. I know Mike was saying that unless he picked up some results, there could be a little bit of pressure on him, and this is exactly the kind of result and the response that he needed to take some of that pressure away, and fabulous result for them. They should be very happy with that. So that pretty much covers us for the week. We've got more to come. We've got a preview of Gameweek 21 because, heck, we only put a video out yesterday. We need another one today because it's Christmas time. And, yeah, look, there's not much time for me to get my job interview in it here at Torquay and make these videos, but I'm doing the best I can. So is Mike. Tip of the cap to Mike. He's been an absolute legend at the moment. Down at the pub, making friends everywhere, doing his picks, doing my picks for me. And look, we'll see you in the preview very shortly to see how we did in our picks for last week. Spoiler alert, not very good. With all these shock results, you know, you'd be doing well to pick these, and we haven't done that well. So let's see how we do for next week. Signing off from here in Torquay. Hope you're having a wonderful Christmas. Have a fabulous New Year. We'll see you in the preview. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Facebook.com/Top Fantasy. We love it all. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
I say walk like they talk like they know.